Hey everybody, it's Jon CC. Welcome to another week of trading. It's Monday, and I'd like to present to you the first episode of The Open, a series of weekly opens where I talk about market structure, breakdown of Bitcoin price analysis, and what I'm looking at for the week. So to dive right in, we saw a pretty big drop over the weekend. It doesn't look pretty good at the current moment, but to give you bulls a sign of hope, we haven't lost any bullish structures yet. So when we took a look at the weekly, let's do an Elliott wave count here. It looks like this is going to be some sort of corrective move that we're in right now. I see 1, 2. This would be a 3, 4, 5. But the fact that we continue moving up makes me think that this is a wave 3 and that what we have here is an extension. And what we're now in is the wave 4 correction, which I've been saying from the start. And we'll get one more push up for the 5th. Now, this could be an expanding flat, but the price moves up a little bit too high to be considered a flat. I think it invalidates some rules. So what I'm looking at is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 extended third. Now we have the wave 4 correction, and we're moving up potentially for the wave 5. Now, I don't know quite yet if we're going to start moving up yet, but if we take a look at price analysis, we'll just mark some order blocks here. Immediately, we have seen that this order block is now the resistance. We'll mark this in as red to indicate that it is a resistance OB. It looks like this OB, didn't earmark it before, is now a support. So we'll mark that as green. And here, right here, is the point of control, our equilibrium point. This is another OB that has the CME gap, which is going to be right around here yet. So that hasn't been filled yet. And I know that a lot of traders are trying to use this as a reason to short it. Now, I think a lot of people are way too bearish here. We're just at range low. We haven't broken this yet. And if we look at the daily, the EMAs are still here acting as support. So now what we have is a range. And we've been ranging here for quite a little bit. We could continue ranging before I move up, or we can start moving up right now. Not quite sure yet. If we look at my Elliott wave count, I originally thought that this could be a triangle forming. We had the, let's see. We had the bounce to 618 here. We had a 786 bounce here. And the way I got this triangle is I was looking at this guideline right here. We could see that the B retraces the 786 mark and the C retraces the 618. So I originally thought that this could be a triangle, but after bouncing off the 618, we ended up moving up and then coming to make our way down. I mentioned before that I wasn't quite sure what this count was going to be. I didn't think that this was complete, and I ended up being right. So what we have here, it looks like is an A, B, C. If we do a quick fib extension tool, yeah, we hit pretty much the 1-to-1. So does this mean that the triangle is now invalidated, even though this is looking like a flat? Not necessarily. We did invalidate this 618 rule, but again, when it comes down to things that you see online with guidelines and parameters, they're just guidelines. They're not absolutes. They're not rules. So if we look at the price analysis, from here to here, that is a lower high, and from here to here, that is a higher low. So that looks like a triangle to me. Still hasn't been broken yet. This could be a flat. This could be a flat like a WXY. W being a three-wave move, X, of course, three-wave move, and the Y being a three-wave move. If we look at our guideline here, yeah, this looks like a flat. Now, some people are saying that this is going to extend lower. I'm seeing some people counting this as a... I don't think this is a 335 flat at all. If this is a 335 flat, it doesn't look like a flat. The only way you have the C coming out longer is if it's expanding flat, but you have to have the B retracing more than the start of A. The B does not the B does not retrace more than the start of A. It actually fails to meet the start of A. So this is still debatable whether this is a flat or not. What I'm seeing right now is the fact that this is possibly still 1, 2, 3 A, 1, 2, 3 B, 1, 2, 3 C, 1, 2, 3 D, and again a 1, 2, 3 E. This triangle is still in play. Alternatively, what I can see forming here is possibly we have a W, X, Y. We'll have another ABC to make another X, possibly here, and then another Y, Z, excuse me, 3 would move down to form a long sideways WXY XZ correction. Now, I can't remember the last time I've seen a WXY XZ correction, so I'm gonna lean still on my primary macro level triangle. This is really, really important that we bounce here. If we go any lower, I think it will probably invalidate the triangle count. So if we look at the daily, for example, I mentioned this quite a few times in previous posts. We have not touched any of these EMAs, since March. And when price gravitates so far away from the EMAs, we're gonna want to test the EMAs at a certain point. We saw that yesterday here. We had an EMA test of the 50 and we bounced right off. Now, if we look at momentum, let's take a look at the 4-hour here. 4-hour momentum is showing that wave trend is very, very oversold. So what we could expect now is the wave trend could bounce out and then decide whether or not it wants to continue up or come down to make a lower low, possibly form a divergence here. Not sure yet. But from the looks of things, it looks like we're going to come back up at some point to retest this lost EMA support of the 200, probably around 10,700 range. And from then, we can decide if price is going to go down or up based on this reaction right here. Important to note that here is also an OB. This is now a resistance, previously a support. So what I'm looking at for the short term is the fact that we're probably going to come up, retest this area, and then decide what we're going to do. Now, I know a lot of people are calling for the CME gap at 8,500, but look, we just formed another CMA gap right here. So of course, traders are going to want to test this most recent gap as the first kind of area where price wants to gravitate towards just to fill this. So what I want to take a look at now is the daily using some traditional price analysis techniques and traditional TA methods. Looks like, if I clear this, looks like we have our range low here, a retest of that low. Here is our range high. Here's the buying climax and our equilibrium point of control OB, right here in the middle. So if this is going to be a triangle, this is probably going to be the area where price is going to start consolidating and then finally we can make our way up. We could continue to oscillate up and down like this to form a WXY. I'm not quite sure yet, and then make our way up. But the main point is we haven't lost any bullish structures. Everyone's calling for 8,500, 7,000, and these guys are crazy. They're out of their minds. They're just spewing nonsense and spreading FUD. We haven't lost any bullish structures yet. Until this gets broken, guys, until this range low gets broken, we are still consolidating in a range, and we still should expect price to oscillate and gravitate towards the top ends of this range. The last thing I want to take a look at is BTC dominance. I've mentioned several times that in previous posts, this is the resistance that we want to hold out. If that doesn't hold out, this is the absolute last line of defense for BTC dominance and for alts to make a move. This is around 69-70% mark. It looks like we are now in a 1, 2, 3, 4, and the fifth leg of this most recent move up for BTC dominance. This looks like a 1, 2, 3, questionably a 4, 5. So BTC dominance does look like it's almost finishing. We have a divergence now forming on BTC Dom right here. We have two bearish dots. We have the higher high and the higher lows here. So we could see a drop off here. It all depends on the follow through. We could see this divergence could get broken by another move up, but for the most part, this absolutely must hold. If alts want to see any sign of life, this absolutely must hold. I'm seeing a lot of BTC alt pairs looking like they've bottomed out. USD pairs looking like they're consolidating. It's just, a matter of time whether or not price is going to start, money is going to start moving into alts and if BTC will behave. It's absolutely imperative that we continue holding on to this range. If we don't hold on to this range and if we break it somehow, we're going to see alts bleed a little bit more. So overall, guys, market does look bad from the surface, but when you take a deeper dive, look at the analytics, it's not that bad yet, guys. I'm saying just be a little bit patient. None of the bullish structures have been broken. We're still consolidating in their range. And if we look at the overall bigger picture, there's still one more move to be played. So I hope you enjoyed the first episode of The Open. If you have any suggestions, comments, please let me know on Twitter or send me a DM. But overall, I wish you guys a great trading week. Stay safe, and remember, always let the profits come to you.